I'm a farmer, not a carpenter, but I've just made these 5 bee boxes from 1 sheet of ply and 2 lengths of batten, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Okay, so it's a wet and windy day today, so getting in the workshop, and I'm actually going to make some boxes, bee boxes, and I'm going to make them out of ply. It's 3/4 inch ply or 18mm ply. Most people say don't make it out of ply, and fair enough, it won't last as long as pine boxes, but it is cheap, cheaper. We paint them, and you know, nothing lasts very long here anyway because it gets wet. We can make 5 boxes out of 2 sheets, so it's not bad, and got a bit left over as well. So I'm going to show you how we do that, and then we might make some frames. We'll make another video with how we make our frames up, so we do it different than most people, I think.
These are the bee boxes, and we're going to make some more like this one too, I think.
Or 5.
Or 5.
Okay, so there's 2 boxes that we made before, and there's some frames in the bottom one, but not in the top one. Do you want to put those frames in, show how they go? That's it. Like that. Ideal. So we're going to make a couple of boxes. This is our homemade table saw. We can fit a whole sheet of ply on here and cut it. So I've marked on here where we do it. So it's upside down, but 460mm, 2 of those cuts on the end of the ply, that is, and then 2 cuts at 424. And that gives us these 4 pieces of ply here, which we then turn around long ways, and we will cut the side walls at 225 and the end walls at 210. So we can't film and do that, so we'll crack on and do that now.
I can cut it.
Wow, that's awesome, Rosie. Okay, so here we go. We've got 10 walls and 10 sides, and then we've got a little bit of waste left over, which we'll find something to do with that. We always do. So there we go. So that's how we're going to make 5 boxes. 5 boxes from 1 sheet of ply. I think I said 2 earlier, but we're going to make it from 1. By the way, this is not a how-to video, so if you know, I'm not telling you how you should make boxes.
Don't listen.
This is how we make boxes, all right? And you know, everyone's going to tell me it's wrong if they think they know how to make boxes better, and that's fine. This is how we make the boxes. I'm not telling you that you should make boxes like this. Okay, so as you can see on these boxes, we're also going to need a piece of batten down the bottom, which is a solid piece, and a piece of batten on the top. So I've got to cut those to the same length as the end walls, and the top one has got to have a little bit taken out of it. So they look like this. No, lower. There we go. So just take a little bit corner off, and that's so the frames can sit on them. Like that inside the box. That's just how that works. And I've made a little jig here, which is nice and safe. And this all sits on together, and it all holds together, clamps together. So there's no way anyone can lose a finger, hopefully. And it run it one way, then I turn it around and run it the other way, and that's set up exactly the right depth to cut those bits. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to cut. How many have we got to cut here? 20.
We're only making 5 boxes.
Yeah, 5 boxes. So we've got to cut 20 lengths of batten, and then 10 of them have got to have the bits taken out of them. Okay.
This is a jig, and we use it to make the bee boxes and make sure that they're square.
2 side walls. They go in like that. And we need 2 end walls. Those ones. Okay. Put them in. And it's all tight because that's how it keeps square. Now we need a piece of batten that goes there, and one the same the other side. And obviously it's not very good batten, but the nice edges need to go against the wood. going to glue them and screw them as well. And then they slot in that piece there. Need to make sure you push them right the way down. Tight. Then I'm going to use 30mm screws. Okay, so then we're going to take this end off. Oh, this is the side. Take the side off. And then apply the glue. Reinsert. And we need to make sure that it's all in and pushed out in place. Then I use decking screws, which are 65mm, and I've drawn a line here so I know where to screw. And the same this side. Then we turn around. Take this side out. Applying glue. Reinsert. Make sure everything is down and square in the corners. 2 more decking screws. Again, I've got lines here so I know exactly where to put them. Then we can take the box out, turn it upside down, so this is the bottom now. Make sure it's right down. This is the crucial bit where we grab our frame rests, one on each side, and again glue and screw. This has got a piece taken out of it. It's important that you get it nice and flush. Doesn't quite hold in the jig quite as easy as the bottom rail does. So make sure it's in the right place and down before you screw it in. Two more. This is the last chance to make sure it's all lined up. And we'll pop them out. Turn them up the right way.
And voila!
Well, let's just check. Frame fits. There we go. Make 4 more, paint them, job's a good one. I'm only a hobby beekeeper and I'm only a hobby carpenter. I'm a farmer, so yes, it is agricultural, I guess. And yes, I know ply does not last all that long out in the weather, but once they've been painted, like those are, they will last a while. Especially if you keep painting the edges and the joints. And I've got some boxes that have lasted quite a long time and they don't look any different. So they do last if you look after them. Okay, so I said I've made 5 boxes from 1 sheet, but actually this bit is left over and that is enough to make another box. It's 650 mil wide, and I can probably use that to make double screen bottom boards or lids or something like that rather than another box. But I could make another box, so you could actually get 6 boxes out of a sheet. So first thing I've done, I've drilled 3 holes, 3mm holes in the side bars. Got the top bar, and we're going to nice bit of glue. Put them in place. Make sure that the slit is on the inside, obviously. Another bit of glue on there. Bottom rails slot in. And I use an off cut so I can hit it down straight rather than a hammer. And I like to put a little pilot hole in the top. And you need to angle them away from the center slit. I'm using 20mm ribbed nails. Okay, and now I use this triangle piece of ply because that sits on there and those ridges sit on the bench and this sits there and it's all held firm. If you just put it straight on the bench, it's all going to bounce around everywhere. And then just above these holes, just mark a tiny little hole, and then I've got this set so it goes almost, so I think it's 15mm through that. So the nail will only actually catch in the back one, but it's just going to be to stop that bottom rail falling out, and the glue should hold it anyway. I've done trials with just glue and it's not good enough. But with the nail, that holds. And then you just put a nail in there, and these just have to feel the wood. Then I get my starter strip. I've cut this out of a sheet of foundation. I get 14 out of a deep foundation. Plan on making my own. Anyway, they sit into the guide, and then this piece is the piece that you break off at the start, and that sits in there, and then I turn it around, and again it sits on the triangle with that bit on the bench and this bit on the wood, and then it doesn't bounce around when you're nailing it. So you nail this. If you do it when it's cold, because we're in the outside workshop, the wax can be brittle. But when it's about 10 degrees today, so it's not too bad. And that's all the bees need, I find. In fact, I don't think they even need that sometimes if it's a really good flow on. If that was a brood frame, I wouldn't need those nails and put wire in. I normally wait until the glue's dry before I put the wire in. But since I made that frame, let's put the wire in now. Okay, so I've got 20-pound fishing line, and that is going to go in the hole that I made. So it goes in the bottom one first, to the middle on the other side, and you're going to use about 6 foot back to the bottom. So you go bottom, middle, bottom, middle, and then you go top to the middle, top to the middle, and that holds the wax in place when it's spinning, and you don't throw all the wax out. Wrap it around the nail 3 times. Get it down. Then you need to pull tight. So I pull from here to there. And you're going to wrap around that nail 3 times. Knock it down. Cut it off. Don't know if you can see that. It's got 2 X's, and that's just enough to hold it in place. And the piece just, as long as it's level, that's the key. When you put it in, it has to be level, and they'll draw it down through. And I've actually got a frame here. There's one, and that actually put that one in a hive. I took some honey frames out and put that in, and it was in there for a couple hours, and you can see the bees have already started to draw that down. I haven't got one that is better than that, but you can see I'll do some videos with the hives and you'll see how it works. And this is one that we've made with no starter strip in the top, and we've cut this out because it was honey and no wires, and they completely built it out. We've cut this out, and that was what we call comb honey. Very nice it was too. And this is actually one that Jack made. All the children made one and put it in, and then came out, and we shared it up in the end anyway, but it's very good. So that's how I make my frames. Oh, this is a starter strip. Wow. There's eggs all around the bottom and larvae in the middle. So this was also a starter strip. And they've done that in a week. That's what it's like after 2 days of rain. Just everything's saturated. It's just a road down there, so it shouldn't really be a pond here. The water is seeping through the hedge. It usually collects here. This is not unusual, but just how it is. And it's only running off of this one or half of this 5-acre field. It's not like a big hill with water running down it. It's just run off this field. And there wasn't anything there yesterday. We had just over an inch of rain, but the ground is saturated already, so. Deeper than your boots.
Probably.
Are
Literally like 2 inches off the top of my boot.
you gonna sign off?
Bye.
What have you got to say?
See you directly.
No, look at the camera and do it properly.
See you directly.